All the ponies of the Rift loved Heartswarming Eve. Such a simple fact was easy to see. The ponies gave gifts and lit up their cafe, hanging wreaths, making plans for the coming holiday. And so with any holiday, I'm sure that you saw, meant the ponies made videos and so much more. Fun little edits and cheery reviews. Art pieces, fanfics, hearthwarming show tunes. Yes, all of the ponies of the Rift likes hearthwarming a lot, but the Floof, the fanfic reviewer, did not. The Floof hated hearthwarming, every part of the season. Please don't ask why. We don't know the reason. It could be that his hair wasn't screwed on just right. It could be that his room was one size too tight. But the most likely reason, or the one that I choose, was that his ego was ever so slightly bruised. But whatever the reason, his ego or his hair, he stood fuming in his room, hating the holiday air. Staring out at the ponies with a cynical frown, watching them laugh and talk all over town.
"Don't they see,"
said the Floof,
"what they do is so annoying? Making these videos so the fans will come swarming. Every year it's the same tired old game. Making little movies to boost their own fame. And come Heartswarming Day, they'll upload them straight. Why, the very thought of it all makes me irate. Am I ever mentioned? No, not I, bub. Why would I get attention when I'm not in a TF2 club?"
And the more the Floof thought about Heartswarming Day, the more the Floof thought,
"I must win this silly game. For 4 long years I've put up with it now. I must make a great heartswarming video. But how?" Ah, of course, how could I forget? Such a classic little story, one you've not heard of, I bet. The Nightmare After Nightmare Night. What a strange little tale. Crossing MLP with Tim Burton. I mean, how could it fail? It's funny, it's light, it's an all-around treat. A heartswarming story that just can't be beat.
Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Floof had a wonderful, awful idea.
"I know what I'll do,"
he said with a chime.
"I'll review this little story, and I'll do it all in rhyme. I'll make a review so clever, so goddamn amazing, within minutes it's my flank they'll all be praising. Why didn't I think of that? They'll cry out in shame. Oh, Emerald, you genius, you may take my horse fame."
So he ran to his set, with a smile so phony, and in a loud voice he announced,
"Good evening, every pony. I know why you've come, so have no fear. Sit back, relax, and let me take it from here. You all know the fanfic, a piece of comedic drama. A fanfic brought to us by Saddle's soap opera. Remember Luna Eclipsed, that episode from Season 2? I always wondered where Rarity was for that event, didn't you? Well, this fic seeks to answer that query, and does so in a manner ever so cheery. Rarity goes on a jewel hunt and is pulled into Halloween Town, and upon her friends discovering this, a rescue mission goes down. But all is not as it seems in this town of Halloween, and soon the little ponies face a challenge most unforeseen. I won't say what out of respect for the author, but I feel when you read it you'll consider it an honor. For a comedy, I'd expect the writing to be funny, and thankfully the writer doesn't resort to being punny. The jokes are fresh, fast, and charmingly witty, though not the deepest satire, which is sadly a pity. But for what we're given, the fic kept me laughing, which is good, nothing worse than a bad comedy crashing. But to add to your story, you need a little flair, some flair that this fic is quick enough to spare. And as a writer, I think this joke's got a lot of appeal, for when they go to Jack's world, their costumes turn real. Twilight becomes Star Swirl, and Pinky a chicken, you see. Applejack's now a scarecrow, and Fluttershy a tree. The same goes for Rarity and Rainbow Dash 2, but that's a surprise that I won't spoil for you. It's a creative setup with a lot of potential, and we get some great gags and other jokes essential. And please, just don't take the words that I'm saying. You haven't seen joy until you see Twilight role-playing. Yes, Twilight Sparkle is on a daring rescue mission and role-plays her character by the seed of her volition. Aside from that, there's only little things left, like Opera keeping Luna in character, a skill most deft. There's a lot of things you can point to overlook the fic's flaws. Hell, it's got a ponified version of Kidnap the Sandy Claus. As a holiday story, I must say I'm impressed. But as with all things, I must show what I detest. At the end of the fic, the ponies go to a castle. Rarity's there, and she's been causing them hassle. I found the fic had been clever up until then, but in the last chapter, it's like Saddle dropped his pen. The castle quest itself is very uninspired. It takes no chances for some good healthy satire. The group marches right up to the castle gates, bursting through the doors, ready to meet their fates, but why not have them go around or teleport in, something unexpected to give the audience a little spin? You're allowed to be creative, you're allowed to mock. Hell, if I was writing this, I'd be on that idea like a hawk. The ending fight also kinda made me cringe. The dialogue there is about as much fun as a syringe. I know it's a comedy and you need to have clever prose, but the dialogue on the ending was just a little on the nose. Too many references and fourth wall breaks. If I wanted that, I'd watch Silverquill and his plushie shake. But really, that's about all the bad stuff, I think. So I'll wrap this review up while I can still stay in sync. The fic is pretty good. It's a fun little read. It hits some speed bumps on that, I'll agree, but if you're looking for something different, a fun crossover, take an hour or two and mull this one over. And with all of that said, I believe I can end this review of mine. I'm EmeraldComet, and I will see you all next time. Ho-ho!
The floof cried out in delight.
The time is now to bring my genius to light.
And jumping up in the air with a neigh, he kicked down the door and sped to the cafe. He pushed through the doors with a deafening quake. It made some ponies spin round, and Toon dropped his milkshake.
Bully for them!
The floof said, proud and tall.
They're finding out now that I've beaten them all. They're watching it now, I know just what they'll do. They'll sit there in silence for a minute or two, then all those reviewers will cry out the genius of you know who! Now that is a sound that I simply must hear.
He paused, and put a hoof to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising up from the stalls. It started in low, but then rang out in thralls. But these sounds weren't angry, disappointed, or sad. If anything, these sounds sounded glad. His video hadn't beat the analysts. They enjoyed it. Somehow or other, his review was just as rewarded. And the floof, fighting back a sudden urge to rampage, stood wondering and wondering.
Why aren't they in a rage? They're not even angry. They're not even sassed. They're not forming a queue ready to kick my ass.
He puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. And then the floof thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe hearthwarming, he thought. Is it about fame or views? Maybe hearthwarming, perhaps, is about creating to amuse. Any pony can write a story or make a review, but what matters is giving joy to those who feel blue. Adding, not taking, from people's lives and their time, but to provide good content, like a review told in rhyme.
Wow. Mr. Narrator, a thought's come to my head. That was the cheesiest thing any pony has ever said.
What?
Okay, folks, show's over. My ego boat has sank. Kindly return to your homes and kiss my emerald flank.
Oh, but Emerald, my boy, you've forgotten one thing. Orange.
Fuck you, British.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow.